All right. We're live again, and this will be the final. That means that if this doesn't work, then no live stream tonight. All right, so this is our final one. We're gonna stick with this one. If it doesn't work, no more live stream, but we're gonna try and keep this going for as long as possible. Thank you for the birthday wishes. It was really nice to see everybody wish me happy birthday, and I'm 26, which is an exciting age. I feel like every year as I get older, just more exciting things happen, and I really like this age. And I grew up in a very traditional community where everybody got married when they were like 19, 20, and I almost got married when I was 20. So I was almost engaged and all that stuff, and this is so different, and it's nice to be able to be living until this long while enjoying myself a little bit before and just understanding myself a little bit before marriage, because I do want to get married and have a family. I just want a little bit. I want to have known myself before doing it and make sure that it's the right kind. So people are asking me. So anyway, I'm going to delete the other 2 live streams because it's embarrassing. Like, it's frankly embarrassing that every single time I do one of these live streams and it's like a little bit interesting, it just goes on and off, and it's like unprofessional. Not that these streams were ever professional, but any sort of officialness of this stream is just totally lost when the streams keep going down, when the internet keeps going down, or YouTube or whatever. So I'm gonna delete the first 2. Enjoy it while you can, because it's going down, and we're just gonna keep this one up. Just to recap, last night's live stream was about the Dem debates. The Dem debates, they were okay, they were fine. I watched a little bit and then I left. The reason why I left was that it just felt very predictable, just the same old things, free health care for undocumented immigrants, free health care for people who are not American citizens. So what? So we're going to give free health care to all the citizens of the world, to all the non-citizens, to everybody in the world who's not a citizen. So that was strange to me, and every single Democratic candidate was supportive of it, which was very interesting, because that was not traditionally a Democratic position until this year, apparently, and until the past 2 elections. So this upcoming election and Donald Trump's election, this was not a normal thing for Democrats to believe in. And Adam says he was hammered. I mean, my friend Steph and I were kind of drinking a couple nights ago, but this light is, I just gave up trying to keep it up, and I just wanted to start this live stream. So that's why everything is just falling apart. Everything in this house is falling apart. Everything in my live stream is falling apart. It's just a disaster. But no matter what happens, the show must go on. So no matter what happens, I'm gonna be here. But yeah, the healthcare stuff kind of pissed me off. Like, so we're gonna give free healthcare to like every single person on the planet who's not an American citizen, who like decided to like cross the border. Yeah, I don't know. If someone has a good reason for me, if someone has a reason why that makes sense, then feel free to give me that reason. Feel free to enlighten me and make me more open-minded and help me to be a wiser person, because as of now, I don't understand it. And one more thing about last night's debate. I really like Andrew Yang. Andrew Yang is pushing some wacky ideas. Andrew Yang is pushing hardcore socialism. And Andrew Yang, in my view, is not a socialist. Andrew Yang is the left's Donald Trump. Donald Trump was a lifelong Democrat who used the Republican Party platform in order to become president. And that was very smart. Donald Trump's winning platform was build the wall. You know what? I just got scared because I thought I thought this live stream was gonna shut down too, so I literally just my heart just dropped. But Donald Trump's winning platform was also it was build a wall. It was this hardcore Republican platform, and he won on that. But the funny thing is that Donald Trump is not necessarily tougher on immigration than Obama was. And everyone is acting like Barack Obama was so nice to undocumented immigrants because he started the Dreamers Act, but Donald Trump is so harsh on the immigrants, and that's not true at all. Donald Trump is not necessarily tougher on immigration. He's different, but he's not necessarily tougher than Barack Obama was on immigration. And Barack Obama deported many people. Barack Obama clamped down on undocumented immigrants. And the way that the media and everybody's portraying it right now, it's total politics. But anyway, that's how Donald Trump came to, and Donald Trump wants that to be the case. Donald Trump wants everyone to think that he's tougher on immigration than Obama was, because that's how he got into office. As a lifelong Democrat, that was his ticket. So the same thing with Andrew Yang. Andrew Yang, if you look at his entire lifestyle and everything he's been doing until now, he's totally a capitalist. Capitalist through and through. And socialist, hardcore socialist platform is his ticket to the Democratic seat. He is pushing UBI, Universal Basic Income, is his winning platform. That's his build the wall. And that's how he became famous. That's how he's going to win. I mean, I don't know that he's going to win, but he's very likely. He has a very good chance, despite what people say. Oh no, we don't know who he is. And it's you were saying that back in February, and look where he is now. He was on the platform, on the stage last night, on the debate stage. That's pretty amazing. And he's all over the news today, and he's just going to continue to be. Andrew Yang is doing really well for somebody who people didn't know his name not long ago. So whether or not he's really serious about any of this stuff, the UBI stuff, everybody was like, yeah, that's a joke. Yeah, but it's working, And everybody thinks it's a joke too, but Andrew Yang, he seems like an outsider. He's coming at it with this platform that sticks out. It speaks to populist socialists on the left. He's willing to have conversations. He's willing to show that he's not a partisan. He doesn't care about party politics. He's not sticking to one side. He's willing to have conversations with the other side. He's willing to go on Ben Shapiro's podcast while pushing his crazy socialist platform. He's willing to go and have communication with people. And he even said this morning, he tweeted something about how it's crazy that he noticed conservatives are willing to have conversations and follow liberals, but liberals are not willing to follow and have conversations with conservatives. So that's a really interesting thing that he noticed, and finally, someone has said it. So I thought that was really interesting. Kamala seemed like the adult in the room. She was trying to be the adult. I don't know that that's a winning strategy. I feel okay, sure, I'm sure people I think people like her. I think she has a huge chance of winning, but I also feel the current political climate might be a little bit different because people are looking for an independent specifically, and Kamala is very hardcore, traditional trad Democrat. Biden does not have a chance. Honestly, I don't think Biden has a chance. Biden, it was people, they kept asking him, is that a yes? Is that a no? And he would just keep having the same expression. I don't know if it was Botox or something, but he would still keep having the same expression, yeah. And it was kind of awkward. I feel bad, actually. He spoke about his, he lost his son, or he lost a few family members very tragically, and so he mentioned it last night. So I felt really bad to see that, and you know, like, you don't always know. You see these people in like a public light, but you don't necessarily think about what they went through, and Biden has gone through a lot. Someone's asking me if I'm getting breast implants. I don't need breast implants. I can just use a padded bra. I can just get a padded bra. I can also have babies, wait to have babies, and then I'll just grow massive. So, or I can gain weight. Anyway, who else was there? Who else was last night? Pete Buttigieg. Pete Buttigieg comes off as very mature, very good. He does a good job. I don't like that he hopped on the partisan train. He just became a politician really quickly, and it bothered me. Who else was last night? John Hickenlooper. Like, Hickenlooper, I think it's great that he's trying to be like, you know, a moderate Democrat, like, oh, we shouldn't be socialist, but Hickenlooper has zero chance in any way. Like, everybody's gonna hate Hickenlooper. Like, no one, Hickenlooper has, like, not the slightest chance, and he seems like a nice guy, he seems interesting and whatever, but, nope. And, people are asking me, someone's asking me if I'm a Democrat. I'm really, really happy that you don't know if I'm a Republican or Democrat, because my whole thing is, I don't want to be caught up in party politics. I don't want to be bunched up with your politics, because I want to be able to say what I want to say without being stuck with like one label or one party, one group of people. It just bothers me. I want to be able to talk to whoever I want and hang out with whoever I want and have whatever ideas I want without being stuck to, like, you know, without being like put in a corner with a bunch of random people that I don't care about. So I'm glad that you don't know, and I'm going to be open about my opinions, but I'm not going to tell you that I'm this or that. Okay. So, what else? Who else was there last night? I don't remember who was there last night. Who else? Biden? Oh, Bernie Sanders! Bernie Sanders! Oh my gosh. I feel like Bernie has such a hardcore base that is never, ever, ever, ever gonna leave him. Bernie's... Tom says nobody puts parties in a corner. You're right. They don't. I put everybody else in their corner. And anyway, so let's get to the topic of tonight, since we've been having so much fun discussing the Dem debates. I was in such a bad mood last night. Like, I was just like, I just couldn't continue sitting here and talking because I was in such a bad mood. And so anyway, today I was thinking about it because they talked a lot about free education and all that stuff. And I'm in school. I'm in a dual master's and MBA program at Johns Hopkins University. I also went to school back in LA. I went to UCLA. I studied human biology. And before that, I studied abroad in Israel for 1 year. And I studied just religious stuff. And I got a teacher's diploma. So if I wanted, I'm a certified Israeli teacher. I can teach rabbinic studies. I can teach, what do you call it? Like, you know, I can teach religious studies in Israeli schools. But anyway, so I've been studying like my whole life. My whole life I've been studying in school. And a few things. I was reading a book called Rich Dad, Poor Dad. It's by Robert Kiyosaki. And some of you have seen a tweet that I made from him, and they're like, oh, you're reading that book. It's the tweet was, don't work to earn, work to learn. So the whole idea is, invest in long-term assets. Which one of them being your brain. Invest in learning. Don't work at a job just so you can get that specific paycheck. Look at it from a long-term perspective. Work at a job that you're going to learn from. Anyway, and try to learn as much as you can from. Anyway, so elementalism says that was you. Hey. As someone who's been in school my whole life, I like school. I like the structure that school brings me. I like that school pushes me to like study and learn in a way that nothing else pushes me, because it feels like a game. You study, you get you take a test, you get these grades. It's like it like allows me to challenge myself. Whereas at a job, I can't do that like necessarily. It's like you just do the same thing every day and you're not moving anywhere. With school, you're moving somewhere. You can take X amount of classes, you can do well, you can work harder, you can do better. And so that's what I like about school. And you have the flexibility, and you can move up. You can move ahead by studying harder and working faster and doing more. So that's the thing I like about school. But from a practical standpoint, is school going to make you smarter? No. School, if you're relying on school for your education, you're not going to become smarter. Because if you're going to school for like a specific certificate or license in order to have like a law license or medical, doctor's license or whatever, okay, fine. You're doing it for the license. But if you're doing it for the education, the reason why our wage gap is so large, the wage gap between the rich and the poor, the reason why people keep getting poorer and poorer even though they're getting more and more and more educated, is that our education is making us all dumber and poorer. Not only is it putting us in so much debt, I'm actually thinking about dropping out of school, because I just feel like, school's giving me this school's letting me like challenge myself and go forward and stuff, but is it really helping me become smarter? I don't think so. I know so much more about the stuff that I'm learning just from reading books and from being engaged and being in the workforce. I'm not learning as much from being in a classroom. And here's why. The people who are teaching you in your classrooms, if they're teaching you about communications, they're teaching you about business, they're teaching you about whatever else they're teaching you, if they knew what they were talking about and they were good at what they were doing, they would be out there doing it. If my business professor was amazing at business, he wouldn't be sitting there in my classroom and like working for a teacher's salary. He would be going, and by the way, professors at universities do not make a lot of money. There's it's such a saturated thing. There's so many professors out there, so many educated people out there with doctorates. They do not make a lot of money. They're like a dime a dozen. And so like a business professor who's sitting there and teaching you how to be a successful business person, if they knew, they wouldn't be there. And the other thing is that they're not teaching you to be like, I thought I'd go to business school, right, and learn about business and entrepreneurship. These people are not teaching you to be an entrepreneur or be a business or have your own business. These people are teaching you how to, Tom Sauer says, accept at business schools. That's interesting. I mean, I don't know, maybe I'll stay. But the thing is, like, these people are teaching you to be to work for corporations and like just go up in the corporate ladder, which is great, like for the time being, you know what I mean? Like, do great at the place you're working at. I love my job. I want to stay there and do well and move up and do as well as I can. But at the end of the day, you're not going to make bank working for somebody. And, like I was reading from this book, working for someone should be not for the paycheck. You're not going to become rich working for somebody. You work, you work at a job, and try to learn as much from it to help you for whatever you're going to do outside of work. So Tom Sauer is saying, depends on the school. My professors at UCLA made tons of money on the side, independent consultants and books. Okay, yeah, that's fair. That's fair. Yeah, my professors at Hopkins, some of them made good money on actually, yeah, they actually, I had like a PR professor. She had her own firm. She was doing really well. She was representing some big names on the Democrat side. And so yeah, there's a lot of people who do well, who are professors. I go back and forth between this stuff, really. I mean, school helped me a lot. Mostly the way that school helped me, though, was not in learning stuff, because from my work experience, like I've been taking a lot of comms classes, from the work experience that I had, I know a lot more than even my professors. And I don't want to be like an asshole, but like a lot of the stuff that I was doing, I knew more than my professors, just because, like, social media, for example. I've been doing social media for the past few years, and I've been good at it. And like, I have like this professor who never, ever used Twitter in her life try to explain what Twitter is. It's like, I'm trying to learn from this person, and I know way more about it. I'm not saying I'm smarter or more academically whatever, but there are a lot of things that school's not going to teach you and prepare you for. So the thing that I've been noticing is most of the stuff I've been learning has been on the job. I never once took any sort of comms writing class or comms class before starting working as a writer. In fact, I had never written an article in my life before working for Ben Shapiro as a writer. He taught me everything I knew, and that's just because I was on the job with him. He didn't even sit there and teach me. He was literally like he just threw me in the water and I swam. I learned to swim. And I think that's how it is with everything. You're not going to learn until you're doing whatever it is that you're doing, and you're given a chance, and you're lucky enough to have a boss that will let you learn on the job. This is another thing that I don't get. Employers, if an employer is smart, they will want employees who have not... A smart employer will welcome employees that still don't know everything. They will welcome employees that still want to learn more and need to be taught more, because let me just make sure that... All right, we still have more time on our Anchor podcast. An employee who doesn't know everything is there to learn, right? And they're gonna learn. And first of all, you can start with a clean slate with an employee who doesn't know everything. You can teach them in a way that is perfect for your business in order to fill your needs as an employer. And also, an employee who doesn't know everything is going to try and work really hard and move up, and that's good for you. You want the kind of employee that's always moving forward, because they're going to be good for your company. You don't want the kind of employee, I feel like a lot of employers feel like an employee who's not very motivated is going to stay with them longer, because then they won't be able to go anywhere else, and they will feel like, they'll just have to stay there forever. But I don't know that that's such a healthy reason for keeping an employee or hiring someone. You want to hire someone who's motivated and wants to move forward. Like, the problem with the corporate world has been everywhere that I've been through a lot of different jobs here. And the problem with the corporate world is that employers are so afraid of hiring people who are motivated in any way to move ahead too quickly, because they think that you're going to go and start your own business and then like become their competition. And so they make you sign like all these forms. They make you sign like non-competes. You can't do anything related to what you did for them for like a year or something afterwards, and it's just ridiculous. It's just like if you don't want your employees to leave you, be a good boss. Give them work to do. Like, don't sit there trying to control your employees' like motivation level, and for me that was really frustrating, because I'm a busybody. I love working, and I love working all the time, and I always want to do something. And the thing is, it's not like I like to do busy work. I like to move forward in whatever I'm doing. I like to work harder for better rewards, and I think that's healthy. That's a healthy work ethic, and that's why I've been able to accomplish as much as I have until now. And I think a lot of people who are like that, and there are people who are more like that, and they do even better. But like, it seems like modern employees don't want that, because they're so afraid of their employees doing too well that they'll leave, or they'll go and start their own business or something. And it's like, so people are saying a little bit, just to sidetrack, about a tweet that I made earlier saying that I'm not going to answer your call or something. Like, if I don't answer your call, then it means that I hate you. So I've been getting a lot of, I'm not going to say that I've been getting a lot of, I've been getting frustrated lately with the kind of phone calls that, like, when people call you and then they're like, and then they guilt trip you into like, why do you hate me? Why are you mad at me that you're not answering my call? Are you this and that? And it's like, no, I'm not mad at you because I'm not mad at you. I'm not answering your call. I'm not answering your call because I'm mad at you. I literally just don't have time to sit there answering like every single missed call on my phone, or every single missed text. I have around 900 unread text messages on my phone. I'm not sitting there, and I actually did try and sit and like sift through some of them and respond to people's text messages, but it's like, I just don't like it. I don't like sitting on my phone and texting and talking in the phone, and it builds up after a while, but I don't like it, and it just makes me so frustrated when people like guilt me into saying, and that's why I like social media. I'm not taking phone calls from people on Twitter. People on Twitter are acting as if I'm saying it to you guys. No, I'm not saying it to anybody on social media. Social media is different, and why does everyone take everything so personally? Come on. Gosh. Everyone takes things so personally. Oh, are you talking about me? No, I'm literally complaining about how everybody thinks that I'm talking about them, or like everyone thinks that if I didn't answer their text message right away, it means I hate them. It's like, no, I'm not talking about you, and I'm just, come on. It's like you tweet about something, and then like people assume like you're subtweeting them. Anyway, a few awkward things. Yeah. I was like had invited some people to hang out with me, and then I just like disinvited someone because and it was really awkward, just because they have certain people had beef with them. But all right, so now it's just trolling. But yeah, I think about dropping out of school because I don't know that it's going to help me in my life. At the same time, though, I think to myself, school is a way that it pushes you to like be on a schedule, and like school is motivated. Because of school, I've been writing consistently for the past 2 years. I've been like still working and writing for the past like year and a half. That's because of school. And if not for school, I wouldn't have been doing anything during that time. School like pushes you to fill up your schedule with productive things like writing and learning, reading books, because you have to read books for your classes. And so school really pushes you to do a lot of good things. And I don't feel like you necessarily lose out. You don't have to lose out by going to school, and in fact, you do gain a lot of things. But if you don't watch out for if you fall into the trap of thinking that everything your professors teach you it's gonna make you more successful, then you're better off not going to school. If you think that going to school is gonna make you rich in any way, don't go to school. If you think your business professor is going to help you like become a successful business person, don't go to school. Schools teach you to be good employers, and they teach you to be to just work for the paycheck and just stay where you are. And maybe if you're good enough, you can get a promotion next year. And maybe if you're good enough, you'll get a pay raise next year. And maybe you'll get a bonus. And maybe if you're good enough, you won't get fired. That's what schools teach you. And they teach you how to like, follow the dotted lines. The thing about becoming rich, doing well, making a business, being an entrepreneur, being a capitalist, is that you have to take risks. You can't move anywhere that's worth going. You can't become rich if you don't take a risk. And that's with anything in life. You can't fall in love if you don't take a risk. You can't, and by the way, I should be saying that to myself because I have not been taking risks in the love department lately. You can't become rich if you're not willing to take risks. You can't trust anybody if you're not willing to take risks. If you're not willing to trust like one person as a friend, confide in them, you won't have a friend. You won't have someone to confide in. You can't. Everything that is worth having starts with a risk, and these schools do not teach you to take risks. You're not having. Oh my God, is there really a spider here? No, someone just trolled me by saying there's a spider on my shoulder. And the truth is, for people saying that, med school is more worth it, you know what? I don't think med school is worth it at all. I was pre-med. I started my med school applications. I did a ton of research. I was a human biology major in undergrad at UCLA. I did a ton of research. A ton. Like hours and hours and hours and hours and hours. And of hospital research, I also did hours of lab research at my school. Took like a ton of classes that I didn't need, but just to look good on my resume, on my application for med school. And I took the MCAT. And the thing is that the more I was going along, and everyone is like, yeah, this is, you should go along this path. This is what's going to make you rich. Go be a doctor. And then maybe you can work for a hospital and make good money. And then, and like the thing is that being a doctor is not worth it. In my view, going to school for so many years, you pay an insane amount for your school applications. I calculated the amount that I'd be paying on my applications would be $10,000. If I had continued along the path that I was going, $10,000 just for med school applications. That's insane. You know, between the primary application fees, between the secondary application fees, you know, you're applying to a bunch of different schools. You have to fly to whatever interviews you get accepted to, and you know, the whole thing is just an insane process. And in addition to studying for the MCAT itself, you have to pay to take the MCAT. Studying for the MCAT is crazy. You have to take an MCAT prep course. Most people do. It's really hard not to do well without it, and it's just not worth it. The stress, the time. You're in school until you're 35, 33, whatever, depending on what you specialize in, and it doesn't make sense to me. And especially now, health insurance companies are totally screwing over doctors. They're totally screwing. There's so many lawsuits right now. My uncle's a doctor. He's telling us every day, don't be a doctor. It's not worth it. He's constantly having to, like, you know, these insurance companies, they're always on your case. They'll file lawsuits against you if you go like a little bit over the amount of, like, you know, that you claim on your deductible. Like, I don't know how it works, but if you go a little bit over what you say that the patient had taken, like as a service, they will come after you and they'll fine you. So and then there's also, like, you know, malpractice lawsuits, and there's so many different lawsuits that you can be faced with, and the pay just keeps going lower and lower and lower. There's so much bureaucracy. I mean, now being a doctor is less about taking care of patients and more about filling papers, and you know, all sorts of taxes, and just you're just always on your toes about different more and more regulations, and it's like, what's the point? And insurance companies are totally just crushing everybody. There's no point. And I was like, you know what? I'm not going to become rich doing this. I'm not going to go to med school and spend my whole life going to med school. You know what? I have so much time to become rich. And then, like, I always get, you know, people are like, you could have been in med school. What? I could have been in, like, hundreds of thousands of dollars in debt and living a miserable existence in med school, in a hospital, in a cold, dark hospital with a bunch of sick people. No, thank you. I would rather be living a freelancer lifestyle in somebody's house, having fun, and I have until 33 or 35 to become as rich as a doctor. But guess what? I will probably be richer, because I will not have been wasting my time in that hellhole, and I will have been enjoying myself. So it doesn't seem worth it to me at all. People say, you know, if you're going to go to school, go to med school. Nope. I wouldn't do it. I would rather go to, like, smaller school. I'd rather go to business school. I'm in business school now, but I'd rather go and get a women's studies master's. For sure, I would definitely rather go and get a master's in women's studies, because at least you're able to do other things at the same time. You're able to go and work and learn from and enjoy yourself and do other things and inspire yourself with different topics. Hey, Steph. Hello, Steph. Steph says, join the club. Steph studied women's studies. Steph was a women's studies major. And so that's what I'm saying. Like, I would rather do that than go to med school, because med school, it only works as long as you get all the way to the end point. You're 33, 35, and you finally get your medical license, and you cross the finish line. You've taken all step 1, step 2, all the different tests that you need to take. You've taken, you've passed your medical school exam, and you have to get a certain a certain percentage, and maybe, you know what, if no one takes away your doctor's license for some dumb shit that you did. And so like, that's when all the studying you did becomes worth it. But you know what? I have so many microbiology classes, organic chemistry, all like a full year of chemistry, OChem, physics, which was a nightmare, calculus, and all sorts of like anatomy classes and genetics classes. And like, you know what? These classes were all hell for me. It was so hard. But you know what? Oh my God, I have to say goodbye to Anchor. Thanks for reminding me, Steph. All right, 6 minutes to the end of Anchor. So we're going to say goodbye to our Anchor viewers, people who are listening on podcast, audio version only. If you want to continue listening to this podcast, go over to YouTube and finish watching it. But anyway, I hope you all have a great night, and enjoy your weekend. So that was how school makes you dumber. That was my Anchor, and I had to finish it because otherwise it's just gonna it just ends after an hour. It doesn't let me record longer than an hour. So no, did I say see you tomorrow? No, I meant see you Monday. Whoops, see you Monday, not tomorrow. I will not be here tomorrow. See you Monday, because I only do these on weekdays, weeknights. So yeah, people are like, go to med school. I don't know. It does not feel worth it to me at all. Chasing Lion says, why are you all so obsessed with jobs so much? So much opportunities for business owners and entrepreneurs. I agree, there's a lot of business opportunities, and the truth is the only reason that I or anybody else is not going and kicking ass as a business owner is because of fear. I always wanted to be a business owner. Even when I wanted to go to med school, I wanted to have my own practice, and I wanted to be able to, as a doctor, I wanted to be like Dr. Drew, like go and have my own show, my doctor show, and write books. And I wanted to go and like become the owner of Myriad Genetics, which is like this company that owns like a whole database of genetic patents. Yeah. So anyway, that's what I wanted to do as a doctor too. But it's still what I want to do, and I always wanted to be a business owner. But the only reason that it just takes time, because it's like, building, first of all, building up confidence and building up the skills. I tried to jump into business earlier. I tried, and I've tried like a bunch of different things. I tried this thing where I would like flip apartments. I would flip, I would take over leases, and then I flipped apartments. And that was actually, I should do a live stream about this. Airbnb. I like flip apartments, take over people's leases, and then rent them out on Airbnb. And I was making good money. I was making like $6,000 a month just from this thing, and it wasn't even like a full-time job or anything. It was like I was doing it on the side as like other jobs. And it was good, but because I was so inexperienced and I didn't really know what I was doing, and I didn't know about like, real estate taxes or like, property tax, I don't know, like there's so much that I didn't know, and there's so many rules, and there's specific income taxes for like, there are specific, like a business, I don't know, there's so much that I hadn't taken into consideration, and I got in trouble, and I lost like all that money. But it was good while it lasted, and now if I ever wanted to start an Airbnb business again, I would know how to do it and make a lot of money and not run into those problems. So part of it is just making mistakes, failing, and then getting back up, and then failing and getting back up. And the only reason why I'm not, owning a business right now is, I am kind of, entrepreneur, doing freelance work, I guess, is business. So that's that's, you know, that's why I was self-employed. But the reason I don't have like a full company right now is because it just didn't succeed. I just keep trying stuff and it keeps failing. But I know that one of them is going to work at some point. One of them is going to work out. And so I'm not worried about it, because I know that every big business owner, everyone who did well in life, has tried a million times. And, you know, like this author was saying, Colonel Sanders tried 1,002 times before he actually made it as like a, you know, he got his fried chicken recipe. So, the only thing that stops people from being successful is not trying, is like giving up and deciding that you're just going to work for somebody the rest of your life. Because working for someone and just depending on them, that stops you from going. And if you want to be rich and you want to have a business, if not, if you just want to you know, stay afloat, you know, then go ahead and just work for somebody the rest of your life. So, yeah. So I know that I'm going to fail more, and I'm going to fail a million times and look like a total fool in front of everybody. And my parents will be like, you know, looking at me with those, I told you so, I told you so, I told you so, I told you so. And that's fine, because eventually one of them is going to work out. And yeah, Pardes says that I just want to have fun. I do actually also just want to have fun. That's another thing. It's like, if you're not having fun, you're not enjoying yourself, then life becomes a drag, and you just don't try anymore. You just become depressed, and you just fall into this routine, and you're not really trying so hard, and nothing is interesting anymore. And it's like, you know, for me, it's like, if I don't absolutely enjoy everything that I'm doing, I just can't do it. And so that's, a lot of people are like that. A lot of people are asking me about Iran, by the way. I kind of feel compelled to respond to that. Actually, no, I'm not going to talk about Iran. Never mind. Let's go back to talking about schools. School. If you want to be smart, you want to be rich, this is what you should do. You should just try everything possible. I've tried everything possible, like every single job possible, I've tried it. And every single thing has taught me something that I couldn't have learned anywhere else. Working at a restaurant was like, taught me the most valuable thing possible. I was not working at a restaurant for the paycheck, because I was getting paid shit. I was getting paid like $3.40 an hour. And, you know, and they fill it up with like tips, so you get like minimum wage, but it doesn't always happen. The restaurants don't always fill it up, and you're not, you know, people who are servers, usually, and bartenders are usually too busy to even go and like go after it, so whatever. But yeah, I was not making shit, but I gained some really valuable lessons from working at a restaurant. I did really well with tips, by the way. Like, I wasn't getting tables because the restaurant was not giving me a lot of tables, and they would keep me there even though I didn't have guests necessarily, and that's why I left. I went for a different job. But I was getting, from the tables that I did get, from the guests that I did have, I was making good money. I was making great tips. Like, some dude would be there with like, get a drink for $10, give me like $100 tip. That's pretty awesome. $100 tip on a $10 drink. And that was happening a lot. People loved me at the restaurant, and I was getting good tips. Other stuff I struggled with. I struggled with authority. I struggled with the managers. I struggled with the people who were like above me, who were like telling me what to do. I was just like, stop telling me what to do. That was literally my problem. They were like, you know, do this, do that, do this, do that, go to this table, and it's like, I was going to that table, I was doing this, I was doing that, I don't need you to boss me around. But that's the problem with me. I have a problem with authority, and that's not necessarily a good thing, but that's why I shouldn't be working for people my whole life. But the thing about working at a restaurant, it really helps you to be good with people, and it also helps you to interact with people and be good at customer service, and it also helps you to be good with money. Like, I only started becoming good at saving when I started working at a restaurant, because every single penny counts. You're working for every single penny and every dollar, and so it all counts. So that's when you start to become fiscally responsible, and you start being good at saving. And so that's another thing that working at a restaurant helps you. And so work at a restaurant. What else did I do? Oh my God, there's so many different jobs. I worked at Whole Foods, like Instacart. Like, I actually got suspended from that one. I got basically terminated because it took so long for me to put things in bags. I don't know, just so many little jobs that I did just because I just wanted to try everything. I did ride sharing, I did Lyft driving. They pay you peanuts. You get paid peanuts, and probably the amount of work you put into it just makes it that whatever the peanuts you get just disappear in some other thing that you had to, I don't know. It's just not worth it at all. But it's not worth it for money, but it is worth it for lessons. And yeah, I wouldn't have been able to get those lessons anywhere else. I wouldn't have been able to get them from school. Definitely not from school, not even from reading. I mean, I totally encourage people to read as much as possible, and school's gonna help you in a lot of ways, but you're not going to become smarter for being in school, and you're definitely not going to become more successful from being in school. You're not going to learn more from being in school. You're going to learn from working. And someone is saying, why don't you could get married for easy money? I could get married for easy money, but I don't want someone to have, here's the thing, giving is power. The person who's working in order to provide for other people is going to be the powerful one. You're not more powerful if you're getting free money. And people are going to hate me for saying this, but you're not more powerful if your husband is the one making the money and he's giving it to you. I'm sorry to say that. I'm sorry, you're not powerful. I mean, sure, you're powerful if your husband is so nice to you and he doesn't, he doesn't abuse, your independence, and he doesn't, he gives you as much as possible, and he treats you it's all yours, fine, but that's because you have a husband who does that. You're not, and people are well, money isn't power, money isn't everything, husband and wives should be together or whatever. Good for you, do that. I'm happy for you, go ahead and do that. But for me, I want to be financially independent. I'm not gonna wait for somebody else to make money for me. And I mean, at the end of the day, it is free money. I don't want free money. I want money that I worked for. And the reason that I want money that I worked for is because that's the kind of money that will stay with you. Money that you got is like a salary, or a government pension or whatever. That's not money that's gonna stay with you. And it doesn't mean that I don't believe in love. It just means that I want to fall in love with someone for reasons other than money. I want to fall in love with someone. This is what I always say. I want to fall in love with my best friend. That's really all I ever wanted. Ever since I was little, there are two things that I ever wanted. I wanted to fall in love fall in love like with someone that's like my best friend. And I also want to be my own business owner. I've wanted that ever since I was very little, because because the women in my community that didn't really have power, there are a lot of women being abused, and even though they got a lot of money from their husbands. And so I always wanted to be in charge of my own money. So I wanted to have my own business, be my own boss. And also, everyone in my growing up, there were just so many arranged marriages. A lot of people were being arranged or set up through a matchmaker or whatever. And so I also didn't want that. So I wanted to fall in love with my best friend. So we're still, I'm 26 and I'm still single. But I know that's going to happen because that's all I wanted. And when you really, 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 really want something your whole life, it happens. You're going to make sure that it happens, and the universe makes sure that it happens for you, because yeah, that's just how it works. But anyway, so yeah. What else was I going to say? All right. There was more that I was going to say, but too much insider information. I can't give you all the secrets, because I just have to keep you curious. And keep you curious for next time. So I don't want to be the sugar mama, and I don't want a sugar daddy. I don't want to be with someone for money or for sex or for reputation or for in order to have a lot of babies, even though I do want a lot of babies, but I don't want to marry someone for that reason. And all these other external reasons. I want to be with someone because they're my best friend that I also want to be with romantically. That's all the reason that I want to be with someone, because I fell in love with them and they're like the closest person to me. And I think that should be the only reason that people fall in love with someone, and not because of like other dumb shit. Felix says, what do you think should be taught in school but isn't? What do I think should be taught in school but isn't? I feel like school has to be like all about hands-on stuff. School should be like every class that is taught should be accompanied with an apprenticeship. Like, you should be able to like go and work for your professors. Like, be like an intern. Every class should come with like an internship or like an apprenticeship, where you're either working with your professors, or like everything is hands-on. You start a business while you're in school. And I actually have a friend who went to school like that in I believe it was like North Carolina or something. I have a friend who went to school. I work with her now. She's a colleague actually at the PR firm that I work at. She went to a PR school, right? But it wasn't like they go to and sit. It wasn't a traditional school like where they went and sat in class. It was the type of school where they actually started their own PR business in school as part of the school curriculum. And that is amazing. She had so much experience before she came and worked here. She's younger than me. She's like 23. She had so much experience. She's the person that I report to at this firm, because she's so good at what she does, and everything she learned, and she's so high up, she's got this great network, and everything that she learned was in school, which is crazy because that's not normally how it is, and that's how it should be. So I think that schools need to have less in-class studying and more hands-on, like apprenticeships and internships. So every class should come with that. It shouldn't be like, oh, the internship is a separate thing or whatever. It's like the classes themselves should all have hands-on components. Otherwise, it's just, there's no point. That's how I think it should be. So, any other questions? Any other questions from the folks? And by the way, like, it's so crazy that, like, these little schools will do it, but Ivy Leagues won't do that. And it should be the Ivy Leagues that do that. Reactionary says, what is your advice to an incoming college freshman? Well, another thing that I would say for if you're in college is, like, this is probably, like, the worst advice ever, but whatever. Like, take advantage of the party life and just go to school and party. Because honestly, it won't matter. Nobody's going to look at your GPA coming out. As long as you get your degree, you know, even if you don't get your degree, like, no one's going to care. Just be like, yeah, I went to UCLA. Whatever. Nobody knows. And I don't use a single one of my classes from undergrad. They're not helping me in any way. I just took, like, a bunch of bio classes. They're not helping me. And, I spent so much time studying for them, spent so much time stressing over them and studying for them and taking these, like, supplementary classes that cost money. And it's like, you know what? I should have just enjoyed myself in my youth and partied and had fun with friends. And you know what? So many people start businesses that way and become, you know, get involved in their passions that way, in their passion career choices that way, because they just allowed themselves to let loose and enjoy undergrad. So that's all I would tell you to do. Incoming freshmen, go and enjoy yourself, make connections, have fun, let yourself be loose. And once you let yourself loose and just, like, allow yourself to enjoy yourself, then you automatically, like, start to encounter the kind of stuff that you the kind of stuff that makes you passionate. So the person who asked the question is studying engineering. What was it? What kind of engineering was it? 1 second. Shoot, I lost it. All right. I think it was like, nuclear engineering. So the person who asked that question is studying nuclear engineering. By the way, I was looking at the analytics for my YouTube and my Twitter in general, my Google Analytics. And it looks like a lot of you guys are engineering majors, or studying or working as in computer science or engineering, like, you know, STEM majors. And that's pretty cool. And you can be in engineering, engineering is really the best major right now. Any sort of, like, computer science or engineering, that's the ideal major right now. Everything else is stupid. Like, all these jobs are going to shit with AI. Nobody needs, you know, like, even surgeons, like, there's gonna be, like, AI surgeons that are gonna be way more accurate than human surgeons. We're not gonna need all these people anymore. There's gonna be so much more, like, yeah, these computer science geeks are, like, the #1 in demand, and they get paid a shit ton. Like, the only people who don't need to start their own business are computer science geeks, because these guys make a shit ton anyway. Like, people pay them an arm and a leg to do their job. So it's like, you're good. You don't even need to go and start your own business. You're gonna be rich no matter what. So, like, but still party, still enjoy yourself. I mean, I'm sure you can make a little bit time to just enjoy yourself and let loose. Go out and get drunk, meet a guy or a girl or whatever. Like, have drunk sex with some random person you met at a party. That's fine. Just don't get an STD. Use a condom or whatever. And just let loose. And it's fine. You'll become an adult later. Diacritical 1 says, I'm in government, it's not all that bad. That's, yeah, I mean, I've been shitting on traditional jobs the whole time. Like, it's fine. Wow. Jorge says, Netflix engineers make $352K or more a year. That's crazy. That's amazing. So, no, so, like, not all jobs are bad. And actually, if you enjoy your job, like if you're working because you actually enjoy it and you actually like feel passionate about whatever it is that you're working for, that's great. Like that's actually, it's really hard to find. I love working in PR. But the only reason I love working in my job is because I have a really, really awesome boss. So it's like, I want to do whatever I can to like make this firm successful because I love the people there. You know what I mean? So someone is asking me if I'm sober. Yes, I'm sober, and you know, just putting it out there. Yeah. Getting high is not always a great thing, especially when you pick up your phone and you dump the person that you're seeing just because you're like really high and you just do it like impulsively. And so like getting high has gotten me in trouble. So yeah, and it's also got me to do other crazy things impulsively, like, you know, I just shouldn't have my phone on me. Or when you're drunk. Okay. So, all right. Any other questions? If you go to school, don't go to school and think that you're going to become rich. If you're going to school, don't think it will make you rich. Try and do other things on the side, work on the side, also enjoy yourself. Also, not all jobs are bad, but working for someone won't make you rich if you are working for the paycheck. If you're working in order to learn from them and become as good as you possibly can in whatever you're doing, then working for someone will make you rich. And what else? Also, like, enjoy yourself. Oh yeah, I told you that. And party and have fun. But while you're partying and have fun, don't have your phone on you, because if you have your phone on you, you'll do crazy shit. Like you know, you will send people text messages that you will regret later, or you will tweet things that you will regret later. So don't do that. Don't call your mom while you're drunk at a party. Also, don't have unprotected sex. Don't become pregnant or make anybody else pregnant. Don't crawl into a alley garbage can while you're drunk. I have never been pregnant or been afraid of getting pregnant. I'm just putting it out there. I have never had that problem in any way. Like, I really haven't. Steph knows the story, and she's like, that's not the story. Steph, I'm trying to make it interesting here. Steph says I did the right thing. Okay, that makes me feel better. You know, like, when you're high or drunk, you're not doing something that you wouldn't want to do otherwise. You're doing something that you want to do, but you do it in an impulsive way. So you're like let's say, you know, you wanted to make a certain decision. You do it in an impulsive way while you don't think through how you're gonna do it, what you're gonna say, whatever. You do it impulsively, and so it's always better to wait until you're clear-headed and you do it, whatever. Anyways, don't get pregnant. Okay, so I'm leaving. I'm gonna go. Bye. Don't unlike this video. Like this video. Subscribe to my channel if you're not subscribed, or else I'm gonna come and kick your ass. And if you're on Periscope, heart this video. And if you want to listen to the audio version, which is only the first hour, definitely check me out on Anchor. And see you all, not tomorrow, see you all Monday, regular time, which is probably not 8 p.m. because I'm always late, so probably like 9. See you. Bye.